Welcome to Let's Talk About It. We are your host, Lisa and Lizzie. I'm Lizzie. And I'm Lisa. Let's talk. Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the rise of domestic violence amidst the coronavirus pandemic. I would like to remind everyone that domestic violence was a global pandemic long before the COVID-19 outbreak. Great point, Lizzie. Now, without further ado, let us welcome Mrs. Sandra Green, a domestic violence specialist. Welcome, Sandra. Thank you for appearing on the show. My pleasure. Sandra, I want to ask you a question. Ask me anything. Why did domestic violence rise during the pandemic? Earlier you stated, domestic violence was a global pandemic before COVID-19. That statement was very true. In fact, there is every reason to believe that the restrictions imposed to keep the virus from spreading plays a crucial role in the rise of domestic violence. Are you saying families who spend more time together are more susceptible to domestic violence? Only if the violent tendencies were already there. Other factors include working from home, practicing social distancing, and staying home, combined with a strained relationship, are often explosive, which has caused several women to become easy prey to abusive partners. Wow, this is really useful information. Mental health officials are also warning that self-quarantining could result in individuals experiencing negative emotions that directly harm mental health. This in turn affects relationships with oneself and those around us. I have a question. Go ahead. Ask. I have heard the term intimate terrorism on several occasions. Could you tell us what that means? Sure. Intimate terrorism is a term many experts are using for domestic violence. Do you know why more women are not being helped? Many domestic violence cases go unnoticed because many women have avoided speaking openly about these monstrosities inside their homes. This makes their safe space more dangerous than the outdoors. Intimate terrorism is a very high price to pay for so-called love. Love does not mean pain, especially the physical kind. How does this behavior inside the home affect children? Issues like these affect the well-being of children, which can have long-lasting effects on their psyche. This in turn can determine how they end up as adults, affecting their relationships with peers, colleagues, friends, and beyond. Thank you so much for educating us on this issue. The video we are about to see is from NBC Nightly News. They will be reporting on domestic violence during the pandemic. Play the video.
Back now with a disturbing rise during the pandemic. As many people stay home to stay safe, that can be the worst place to be for victims of domestic violence. Here's Kate Snow.
Like your heart has just, someone took a huge knife and just kept carving your heart out.
The pain is still so raw for Lissa Weimelt and Bill Pugh, whose daughter Maria was murdered less than 3 weeks ago. They adopted Maria as a baby from Mexico and raised her in Minnesota.
Both Bill and I thought we just won the parenting jackpot.
Always smiling. She snowmobiled, she rode horses, she rode four-wheelers, she snowboarded, she skied, she was a cheerleader.
She got married last year, a relationship her parents describe as controlling.
I think it was, pretty intense, really fast.
And then coronavirus and orders to stay inside their house.
That was not a safe place for her to be.
Do you think COVID-19 contributed to everything that happened?
Oh, sure. It further isolated her.
The criminal complaint says there was an argument on April 30th about Maria leaving. Her husband, Joshua Fury, eventually admitted killing her and burying her body in a small crawl space. Fury's lawyer declined to comment.
You just think, why didn't I say all the things that I'm faulting myself for now? Run, my God, run. Why didn't I say that?
Home is not a safe place for victims. And now you're forced to stay inside because outside is scary.
Phone calls to the Center for Women and Families in Louisville, Kentucky have actually decreased, in part, experts say, because victims are trapped with their abusers. But the center is getting more emails or victims calling friends using a code word for help. What are you telling women about whether they can leave because of the coronavirus rules?
Well, what we're telling them is do leave. Absolutely. One of the ways that perpetrators are manipulating, mentally abusing their victims is through the coronavirus, saying things like, if you walk out this door, you're going to get the coronavirus and die.
NBC News reached out to 35 organizations in 19 states. In some places, hotline calls more than doubled, becoming shorter and more frantic.
We know COVID-19 is a pandemic, but so is domestic violence.
Lissa and Bill are starting a nonprofit called Maria's Voice to help victims find resources.
There is something we can do. It's a call to action about domestic violence, and it's Maria's Voice.
We're just parents who have a broken heart. But we can do something, and we're going to do something to stop domestic violence.
Hoping to stop a pandemic within the pandemic. Kate Snow, NBC News.
If you or someone you know needs help, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or go to thehotline.org.
Is there any other advice you can give to our viewers to help in domestic violence situations? Yes. If you are a victim of abuse of any kind, even something seemingly inconsequential, such as emotional or verbal abuse, speak up. Speaking up will help you and someone else who has not been able to. Thank you, Mrs. Green. Yes. Thank you very much, Mrs. Green. This concludes the show. Thank you all for tuning in. Yeah.